Hey, about time. I got a creatine due out soon. Thank goodness. So I created a creatine which was unbelievably good, but we've had issues with raw materials. So it's actually been out of stock with us for months and months and months. So what I've done is I've gone back to the drawing board and gone to the good old fashioned micronized creatine monohydrate 200 mesh. That might not mean a lot to many people, but this is my take on creatine and how to get the best out of it. There's a lot of misinformation, and I talk daily to athletes who still don't know how to take creatine. A lot of them will just stick it in their water and drink it. Some of them, they don't even look for micronized. So some of the bigger brands out there aren't micronized. Waste of money. That's where you get your water retention and other issues, cramping and what have you. It's because your body's not absorbing it on a cellular level. So let me explain to you what 200 mesh is. The micronized creatine we will be doing is 200 times smaller than your granularly creatine monohydrate molecules. So it's finest powder you can imagine. With that, the absorption is then enhanced straight away because it's 200 times smaller. Really key point. When do I take creatine? Good question. Personally, you get, again, bro science or whatever you want to call it. Take your creatine just before your workout. Take your creatine in your workout. Take your creatine in your protein shake after your workout. I wouldn't do any of those things. To maximize the benefits of creatine, I would take creatine at least 2 hours before a workout or at least 2 hours after a workout. True story. I would take it in a particular way. So how much creatine do you take? So again, these big commercial marketing companies will go 3 grams of creatine is your maintenance dose, or some will go 5 grams of creatine is your maintenance dose. You know, I deal with 9 stone guys and 29 stone guys. You're telling me 3 grams are going to work equally on them guys? Of course it's not. So here's the kicker. Your maintenance dose, take 1 gram of creatine for every 10 kilos you weigh. So 100 kilo guy like me, 10 grams a day. That's my maintenance dose. Every day. Do I have to cycle creatine? No. Do I do 5 days on and 2 days off? No. Do I only take creatine on training days? No. You take it every day, 2 hours before at least, or at least 2 hours after. That's the way to take creatine. The other key with creatine, and here's a really cool way to get it working. Take creatine with a sugary drink. Now, when you take something with sugars, let's, for example, go on an orange juice or a Ribena, for example, something like that. You put your creatine in there. So I put my 10 grams of micronized 200 mesh creatine in there. What I will be doing with the sugars in that drink will increase my blood sugar levels. My body, because it's so cool, reacts by producing something called insulin and goes, whoa, calm down, son, calm down. That insulin takes that 200 mesh micronized creatine and transports it into the cells in the muscle in the body. Now, creatine is amazing at attracting fluid. So if you can imagine creatine going into the muscle, let's say in the arm, what it will do then is we'll draw in subcutaneous water or water retention from outside the muscle in between the skin and draw it into the muscle, volumizing the muscle and making the skin look a lot tighter onto the muscle. So we're actually increasing the size of our muscles by taking creatine, 200 mesh micronized, with a juice every day on 1 gram per 10 kilos. You will maximize your absorption and the volumization of the creatine and how it works in the muscle. So you and I could go on creatine monohydrate now, micronized 200 mesh, never enough one, in a juice, not touch a weight for 3 or 4 weeks. And in 3 or 4 weeks, we would look bigger and hencher because of the way that creatine had worked. So the other benefits of creatine will increase something called ATP. Now that stands for adenosine triphosphate. That's our fuel, that's our batteries, that's our powerhouse. There's other things that affect ATP, B12, B6, folic acid, omega-3, magnesium. These are all key players in the Krebs cycle, the energy cycle of our body. Creatine is a major player of that. So creatine will produce this ATP really efficiently. That will give us more energy, more strength, more explosive power. It will suppress lactic acid. So anything that causes lactic acid will cause your muscles to fatigue, your energy levels to drop, and you'll start to fatigue. If you can suppress lactic acid, you're like a machine. When creatine first came out, 20 odd years ago now, it revolutionized sport, particularly bodybuilding initially, but then sport. One of the first teams in the world to get onto creatine was the All Black rugby squad. And they used to cycle EAS creatine phosphagen, which was a great creatine. They used to cycle that 12 weeks before any tournaments. So these guys were machines. Back then, they ruled the world in rugby. So these guys knew ahead of the game about creatine monohydrate and how amazing it could be. If you're a fighter, if you're a sprinter, if you're a power lifter, creatine monohydrate, micronized, 200 mesh, blah, 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 should be part of your regime. Be it a man or a woman or whatever else you get these days, don't get me into that. Creatine monohydrate is one of these key essential products to take. If it's not micronized, don't buy it. And there's some big companies that you'll probably be buying your protein from that do the worst creatine monohydrate ever. And it's granulized and it's not very good and it won't work. And it's those things that give creatine a bad name. Trust me, creatine is a badass. Put it into your regime and you will thank me for it. We're bringing it out very, very soon. By the time this video goes out, it might be here. But I say we've gone with the micronized, like everything else we do in the brand, or I do in the brand. I look into how it's going to maximize results for you guys. Simple as. Thank you guys. Keep training hard. Get onto the YouTube channel if you're not on that yet. We've got Never Enough Nutrition in the YouTube. Our health store side with everything supplement wise is the Little Supplement Company. Both got loads of information going on. And there'll be little tips like this on creatine and other things to take. Have a great day, guys. I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye.